And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Welcome to the Dice Tower. Today I'm talking about Aladdin's Dragons card game. Now, this is based on the board game Aladdin's Dragons, which unfortunately and sadly is out of print. This is a card game version, and this is one of those card game versions which honestly is almost identical to the board game version, except they've transferred everything over to cards. So, for me, if I had my druthers, I would easily take the board game. Oh, I do have my druthers, so I'd rather have this. That is not to say that this is a bad game. It's a very well done version of the board game. It takes out some of the strategy. There is a little bit less randomness, I guess, with the bidding because there's fewer cards. I'm not going to get to a whole detailed description of the board game, but I can't imagine if you had the board game that you would want this unless you wanted it in a portable version that's easy to carry. Since you can't get the board game, I'm going to tell you about this game in case you might be interested in picking up this card game. It is entertaining, and the board game is one of my favorites. I think the card game is just as good. This is a somewhat condensed version of how the game starts out. There's 4 dragons here in the middle. There's a pile of cards over here, magic cards. Over here is a start player card, and up there are some artifacts. The game revolves a lot around these treasure cards. These treasure cards are of different types and different values from 1 to 5. And at the beginning of each round of the game, you will put a number of treasure cards underneath each dragon equal to the number of that dragon. So you can see here, there's the treasure cards. You will also take one of these treasure cards without looking at it and put it on the guard. That treasure card, ooh, we looked at it, is the value of that guard plus 1. So in this instance, the guard's a value of 4. But no one knows that. Then you'll turn over treasure cards one at a time so you get a certain number to determine how many artifact cards are at the top. We'll just put 4 there for now. Each player gets a set of cards from 1 to 5 that match their color. And these are the people that they will be using to send out. And in player order, players will be putting these cards wherever they want. Like I can send them to this dungeon here with the 4. I can send one to the dungeon of 3. I can send 2, in which case their values will be added together. I can send them up here to get one of the artifacts. I can send one over here to bribe or fight the guard. I can send one over here to the pile to take a treasure card, or a magic card, or I can send one over here to get start player. Once everybody has put their cards out on the board, like that, and again, I like the fact that the artwork is different on all the cards. That's something that R&D Games does quite well. And then we just start and we go through each of the cards in order. For example, here on the 4, we see that the blue played a 4, blue played a 5, yellow played a 4, and red played 6. So red gets first choice of the treasures here. So let's say red decides to take the yellow 5. And then blue would get second choice. Blue gets the red 5. And then yellow gets the third choice, and they'll take the yellow 2. No one gets the last one, so it goes away. And that continues on for each of the treasures. Over here, whoever has the highest number on the start player, in this instance it's 5, gets to be the start player. Why is start player important? Well, mostly because in this game there's going to be a lot of ties in bidding, and whoever's start player wins those ties, or the player closest to the start player. The people who have the highest 2 numbers here, next to the magic cards, whoever has the highest number draws 2 magic cards, looks at those 2, keeps 1, and gives the other one to the second highest bidder. These cards are one-time use cards that allow you to do different things, like this one here is teleport, lets you move a hero card to another location, or the value of every odd number hero in one location becomes 1, a lunar eclipse. There's different things that you can do. After everyone's done that, we go over to the guard. We turn over the guard card, and look, it's a 4. I had no idea. Black has sent a 1 there, so he's not strong enough to overcome the guard. However, every player can overcome the guard by bribing them the value of that guard. So you can bribe him with 4 treasures if you have it, or in Black's case, he can bribe him with 3 because he already sent 1 person there. You must do this, or you do not get an artifact up here at the top. When you go to an artifact, for example, Black one here, he put a 5 on that artifact. He's the highest bidder, well, he's the only bidder, so he must pay 5 of the same kind of jewel. So he could not pay a 2 and a 4 like thus, because these are 2 different kinds of jewels. However, he could pay multiples of the same color, a 2 and a 5. In this case, he doesn't need to do that. And so over here, For example, we see blue played a 4 and yellow played a 2. Now let's say, for example, blue did not have enough to get past the guard, then they would be out of this and it would be yellow. So all he has to do is pay 2 treasures and he could take that artifact. But if, let's say, they both beat the guard, then 4 would have the first opportunity. He would need to pay 4 treasures of the same kind. If he did not have them, then it goes to yellow. If yellow does not have them, no one gets it. Each person takes the artifact card, which is placed in front of you. All the artifact cards have a one-time use that can be used during the course of the game. And they're important because at the end of the game, whoever has the most artifacts is the winner. If there's a tie for that, then the scrolls... no, I'm sorry, not the scrolls. There is an artifact card that lets you break ties, which is... And we'll find it. It's coming! Aladdin's lamp. There we go. Whoever has the most Aladdin's lamp will break the tie. And that's a pretty big deal because that happens quite often. So you continue going until all the artifact cards have been taken, and whoever has the most artifact cards is the winner. I'll start with a negative. The one negative that I would have about this game is that because of the cards, there's cards all over the place, and yes, they have different backs. Thank you for that. But sometimes it can get confusing over what cards go where, and it takes a while to sort out which cards. And if you look at the original game, I really do like the little pieces that came for the jewels. That was really, really neat components. However, it still plays out the same. You only have 1 through 5 as opposed to 1 through 9, I think, in the board game of cards, but it does play much faster because of that. It's a very simple, fast game to play. It's very easy. You get jewels. You spend those jewels to bribe the guard to get artifacts along the way. Do you want to get those magic cards, which will give you bonuses? Do you want to get the start player to make sure that you win as many ties as possible? It's a very light strategy game, but it's there. Some people don't like the fact that you will place your characters face down, but since you only have 5 cards, you can pretty much try and figure out where other people have placed their cards and will they put their best card here. And for me, that's a lot of the fun of the game. I put a card here because I really need that jewel. Hopefully you're not the one to take it. And then choosing which artifact cards. Yes, you need as many as you can get, but some of the artifact cards have some pretty powerful uses. Like this scroll here, for 1 round you can ignore bribing the guard. Well, that's a very useful thing. It's almost like getting an extra bid. I can skip the guard this turn. So all in all, I think it's a good game. I'm not as much into it because I have the board game itself, so I don't need the card game. But if you're looking to play this game, it's certainly one I think you will get a lot of enjoyment out of. Aladdin's Dragons, the card game.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.